Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Europe. This week we are in season 5 and in week 8 of our regular season. So for our matchup today in Division 4, we're getting towards the very end. This is the penultimate week, so the last chance to do anything. And we've got a pretty interesting matchup here today. Calamity, Nakiro versus Jake. Nakiro a bit higher up in the table, still hoping to get some promotion spots, but Jake is right on his heels.
Well, he is in terms of position, but there are quite a few points between the two of them, so it's not the most likely for Jake to make those up. But if he wants to, well, has to start here. And looking at their stats, they've been very similar so far this season. Nakiro just slightly ahead in terms of average points, and crucially has that perfect game, which of course gives an additional point in the table. Jake just ahead in terms of aces with two more. And yeah, the record looking pretty similar, but yeah, of course, Nakiro with quite a few more points, which at the end of the day is what counts.
Yeah, so maybe a bit unlucky for Jake in some of his matchups that one or two more things could have gone his way, and his points would have been a little bit nicer. But yeah, so we're in Europe this week. Let's take a look at the map itself. Made by the French community, 30,000 locations, been played plenty of times, and a pretty good average score. Yeah, Nakiro, obviously the Frenchman in this one, might have a bit of a home field advantage if we are in France, but Jake is definitely no slouch in this popular map to be played. So yeah, any favorites in this one?
I well, usually I think if uh oh well, it's very difficult to say. I think if he is under no pressure, then I think Jake is like that slight bit better.
Mm.
But he's so far this season hasn't really dealt well with kind of anything that didn't really go his way. And uh, yeah, Europe is maybe not the best place for him against Nakiro. So we'll see. I definitely think they're both capable of putting, of delivering a good show. And we'll see who ends up on top.
Indeed. Well, let's not keep you waiting any longer and just jump on in to round number 1. And well, not the most beautiful scenery to start us off.
That's just because it's winter.
Yeah. I'm sure this place looks lovely in the spring. Need to come back when it's nice.
Mm.
And
We'll see. Maybe the camera, maybe we get some kind of different coverage at some point.
didn't recognize the language just from that small town sign.
Going opposite directions. Naka has now made it to a town as well. Both of them struggling a bit with the movement.
More east. And oh, we've seen these signs before. We are in Czech Republic. Those small town names might be a little bit tricky to spot.
Yeah, usually it's a good idea for those, like the big blue signs stand out, but the bike signs also mention cities on them. So it's very good to also check those, as Nakiro does right now,
Yeah.
just to make sure that those aren't towns that you recognize. But Jake has made it to some better signs with the same towns, but also a road number.
That will help. 337. He's also made some nice coverage change, which means we got some nice green lush. Oh, there we go. Nakiro making the same move. And we saw in a different cast, while there's a Ukrainian flag for some reason on that box, those small little black signs can give you the very detailed road numbers.
Yes.
So the 33740, which we know is the major highway, as Jake has that on his screen.
I wouldn't call it a highway, but it is the numbered road.
Well, the road number.
Think where's Jake got his pin?
Guys, he's on the road and he's got the town now. At least one of the town names he's seen. He needs to maybe double check that this is where he's in fact is. I think it is one of the towns we entered or left, so he's doing a very good job of backtracking his route. The road direction seems to match, and yeah, Nakiro also. I don't know if he's found that road, but he's in the same
He
general
has,
area.
yes.
Okay. Seems to be approaching it from slightly different, heading west on his search. He is. I think we know from Jake's that he's much further east. Yeah, he's figured that out, and now he's got it as well. So with a minute and a half to go, even if they don't manage to pinpoint this one, they will be very close in round number 1.
Yeah, there's not going to be too much between them. It is getting slightly close for them to, you know, at least for Nakiro to be able to pinpoint it exactly. He's got a minute and 10 left. It's definitely doable, but we'll see if he can pull it off.
I think, yeah, Jake's a little bit closer. He's in the town looking at some of these road directions a bit more, and Hiro's still not quite confident where he might be. Maybe forgetting the town name that he saw?
Maybe, or he just can't see it. I don't remember which the exact town name he saw was. But Jake's now there. He has found the right place.
Search point of interest as well is that weird divergence in the road is a pretty noticeable landmark once you find it. Yep. And he'll get an ace 6 meters away with about 30 seconds left. And Nakiro not having that same confidence. I'm pretty sure he saw the town name. Oh, he was in the town, then he moved away. So that last minute adjustment will cost him, if he doesn't move back, cost him a bit of points.
Struggling with judging distances, I suppose.
Yeah.
He knows he's 13 kilometers away from Set. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. Yep. And yeah, just ends up too far to the northwest.
Yeah, dropping 38 points there. So, I mean, it's not too bad. He's still within draw range after that first round calamity, but definitely Jake, at least in that first round, looking a bit on form today.
Yeah, no problems there for him. He did have the slightly better sign quicker, but after that point, I think Nakiro arrived at pretty much similarly useful information with maybe 20, 30 seconds later, but definitely had plenty of time as well. So from that point onwards, just Jake doing a bit of a better job at pinpointing.
Well, let's jump into round number 2 then and see what we have in store. Yeah. Some nice, lovely forests and some very bad movement. So this will be a fun 4.5 minutes of them trying to get out of this forest to see what they can see. Other than that, maybe just mountainous. Thing to really go off of.
These are always so annoying rounds because or such annoying rounds because you don't know if you're now clicking for 4 minutes and not finding anything, or if there's great signs just around.
Oh, and that's a beautiful license plate. Yeah. A really good angle. Definitely saw the
license plate.
And then there is German for Nakiro. So that will at least point to, I think, only really one country this could be.
Yeah, it's Switzerland. And with Jake seeing an unblurred license plate that told him that we're somewhere near Bern. I mean, I'm not sure how far the car might have traveled, but that's what Jake's now going to go off of and maybe trying to look for these towns somewhere in the vicinity of Bern.
He's already on the map. 3 minutes left to go. It's
there it is.
Sign. Yeah, there we go. So the first 2 rounds not giving Jake much to worry about. Nakiro, though, has made it out, which was something I wasn't able to do.
Yeah, the problem for Jake here is that he has these signs towards those villages, but they're very useful for telling him where he is roughly, but they're of literally zero use to pinpoint. So I'm not sure why he's spending so much time here. He might be looking for the other towns on the sign as well. But what he really should be doing is trying to see if he can make it to anything that can help him pinpointing. That might be useful. A school, a sign for a school there in Dentenberg.
I think
which
is the city we're very close to because Nakiro saw a similar sign.
yeah, Nakiro has now made it to Warp itself. So that's the kind of information that would be very useful for Jake, but because he's, well, not looked to travel far enough, he doesn't know it. So he's essentially just a bit lost at this point, looking for probably Dendenberg, which
Certainly.
could potentially appear somewhere, but doesn't. So after about a minute, he decides, no, back for it once again. Just making sure he doesn't forget it, I suppose.
There you go. Well, it's interesting that yeah, he has kind of he's in the area, hasn't had that pinpoint information he's really wanted, and Nakiro's got it, but he's having a lot harder time finding the towns.
Yeah, I
He's
forgot on the sign with Wob, it also said the distance to, I think it was the
oh, there we
distance
go.
to Luzern,
Mhm.
and it was 70 kilometers or something, but the directionality of that sign was a bit weird. That was what I was struggling with as well when I
Mhm.
played that seed, because it looks a bit strange, and so you normally wouldn't even look in that area close to Bern. Um, Also, like, why are you putting the distance to Luzern on that sign? You're right next to Bern.
Make more sense, but yeah, I think actually,
Jake has found Dendenberg. He's on the
yeah.
right road there, just 45 seconds left for finding out where exactly.
I mean, we're at a pretty interesting intersection here, so it might be something you can spot. And Nakiro thinks to think he's found us the road. I think he's in a very similar spot. Yeah, he is pretty close. Again, this one's going to be really tricky to pinpoint, but both of them won't be losing too many points in this one, if any, as we tick down, which means that Jake should maintain his slim lead after the round. They are both honing in on different intersections, and it will be Nakiro who gets the better of it this time, 5K.
Yeah, Jake really not sure where he is at and drops
Yeah,
6 points.
6 points. And that look on his face just says everything. Yeah, we're
Mm,
in this area somewhere, very tricky. But 6 points brings things a little bit closer, but not a whole lot changing after that one. But yeah, very good job. I mean, it started out looking like it would be a really rough round. Forest, bad movement, but both of them able to navigate that quite well.
yeah, the problem there for Jake is that I think essentially his only chance left for promotion would have been a perfect game
Mm.
with ideally even Nakiro dropping more than 100 points. But that's kind of out the window now. So he's looking at best, sort of a mid-table position.
We'll get into round number 3 and see what we can find in this one. And this is pretty unique. And that if we get a road sign, yep, that road sign will confirm it. So not a whole lot of points going to be dropped in this one. Malta is not the biggest country.
No, absolutely not. Though you could potentially drop enough points to drop out of the draw range. I think you can drop 200 points in Malta.
If you weren't sure, there's a full address and a website.
Looking less likely now.
Yeah, even got the town name. Hopefully that van didn't travel too far.
Could have traveled throughout the whole country.
Yeah, definitely could have, but the town name might be very helpful. Nakiro really focused on a bus stop.
Yeah, he's got the town name on there as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
It's right
Rabat.
there on his map, just not finding it.
Mhm. I do remember I did play a Malta map. I don't remember what it was for some competition a while ago, and what got me was there were times where there was two town names exactly the same on the two different little
Yeah,
islands of Malta,
yeah.
and I was like, I found it, and then I ran out of time and was like, you're in the wrong island, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that's
So,
definitely the case. There are a couple of those.
but this one not tricky at all for Jake. Very quick and ace. Yeah, 2 out of 3. Too bad. Yep. There's a little town for Nakiro. Hey, we'll check just the other island to make sure. Not too bad, but
No going in that direction.
yeah, gotta turn around. And no, there we go. What? Not a bad roundabout. Center of Rabat. Medina.
Here are all the cities of Malta.
Yeah. I think it at least helps you confirm what island you're on, if anything, and
True.
will help him feel more comfortable with his pick. And now he can work on his endpoint. So while that town name is there, he must be much closer to Medina because there's definitely not enough buildup out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's the road. Now it should be a matter of just going back to the start and finding these crossroads for him. So not too bad. He'll get an ace as well, 5 meters away. So yeah, pretty nice round number 3. Sees both of them getting perfect scores.
Yep. So just 2 more rounds to go to see if there will be a winner here or if we'll stay with this draw.
Yeah, I mean, probably what we could say is that if Jake can't get a win out of this, a draw would just make the table kind of look pretty nice on the final weeks, even if it doesn't mean anything for him in that promotion battle. Nicking a few points off of Nakiro will not be something to be unashamed of. Right away into round number 4 here. We're on a bridge, so if they manage to find this river, not too bad. It looks like Russia.
It's not.
Yeah, I know. Just having played so much Russia, I was like, this feels like that. Spent a lot of time looking at this kind of countryside, so we might be in that general area at least. One of the Baltic countries, Poland maybe, Norway.
I like you saying you're in the general area of Russia, which could be, well, yeah, as you said, Baltics, South Korea, Japan, Mongolia,
Well, not those borders.
Turkey.
I mean, like, we are in a map called Europe, so
Yeah.
the European part of Russia.
Yeah, Jake's found signs towards Gurben and Rezekne, which, yeah, pretty easy to find. And not going to be dropping too many points here.
And the P36 as well, so I think
Yeah,
he's pretty much got that
even need
intersection.
that one. Yeah. Just needs to find the river now. If he remembers that we started on a bridge over a river.
Well, there's a river. There's quite a few little rivers there. So, there it is. Not too far away from that intersection as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has plenty of time to remember what that bridge had on it. It had that river's name, which stands out.
Nakiro has arrived at the same signs a little bit later, but it's such an easy round that doesn't really matter. You could have 2 minutes for that round and it shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, after watching Nakiro, I mean, he's been pulling out these nice rounds, but watching him play it out, you wouldn't feel like he would actually be getting these points because he's a little bit hesitant, not too convinced, a bit slower than Jake, but just you got 4.5 minutes. That clock kind of is long enough to make up for a few small little mistakes. He will actually click his guess a few seconds ahead of Jake there. Both of them, though, picking up the ace. So yeah, keeping these things very, very tight. Not a round to separate them, and we've got 1 round left, or we end in a draw.
Maybe. If it's another round like this, then definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll get set up here and jump into round number 5. And good French. So yeah, possible. Yep. Definitely a country that is not on everybody's favorite list.
Probably Nakiro will be a bit happier about that than Jake.
If anything, he has the advantage of reading the language. I don't know if Jake speaks French or not, actually. So
He does. But just it being your home country is still quite a big advantage.
True. We are in, at least right now, somewhat rural France, which, that's an interesting sign. Nearby a lake. Who knows how big that is? Scale is always a problem with those things.
Yeah.
Oh, Ob? I don't know.
Orb.
Ob.
Orb.
The D
Yeah,
for
he
it.
is I'm pretty sure, department. And yep, there we go. Nakiro, of course, knows where it is.
Yeah. D14, the very small roads. So we need to know the province and area first. But town names for Jake.
Yeah, so now that Nakiro doesn't know, I mean, I'm assuming he's
There we
probably
go.
gonna look for a town name first, but he has essentially everything he needs to make it work.
Yeah, and there's the River Seine, so we should be
Yeah,
somewhere near Paris
well, somewhere along the Seine,
at least.
essentially.
Yeah.
So you could just now spend the rest of your 3 minutes looking along the Seine and
For
trying to
all
see
of
if you can,
these, yeah.
yeah, spot any of them, which is what I did.
What I did as well. So there's quite a few town names. They're a little bit blurred out, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, Jake, I think that's one of Jake's problems as well here is he spent a lot of time looking at these town signs for no particular reason.
Yeah.
Wasted about 10 seconds or so there. Which, you know, if he finds it at the end is still not a big deal or anything, but if he's missing those 10 seconds at the end that could be where he lost them.
Yeah. Now, Nakiro will arrive at the intersection. Didn't really need it, but this will definitely help him confirm where he is.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I've looked more at Jake's screen in the last minute or so, but I don't think Nakiro's went looking for anything specifically yet in the department, like looking for a town or anything. But with that information of the towns being near the Seine, that gives him even more of a clue because he already has it narrowed down to the right department. So
Yeah, yeah.
he has less of a search area.
Jake, unfortunately, is checking that kind of northwestern part of the river, and we are kind of more southeast. It. So the
Yeah.
wrong side of Paris. You'll kind of come to that conclusion after searching almost the entire length of the river, all the way to the coast. Now he'll go the other way around, looking for these names. Oh, there we go. There's one.
Nakiro's struggling a bit with finding it as well. You'd imagine with knowing the D14 and the D78 here as well that he'd be able to find it a bit quicker, but there it is, one of them.
And I think they both find the area at almost the exact same time. And
Yep.
their pins are chasing each other around the map. You know, the final 30 seconds, definitely needing those 30 seconds to get that pinpointing. If they were in Division 3, bit out of luck in this one, but they've got it here, and this strange kind of dirt area. I don't know what we would call it.
I'm
Depot?
not quite
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it could be.
Storage for ground and rock. I'm sure there's a fancy name for it. And time will run on both of them. And, well, they're both close enough. Nowhere near exactly pinpointing this, but 25 and 26 meters will be enough for an ace in this one. So, yeah, I think, Jake will definitely be a little bit hurting that he dropped some points in that one round, because I think that was the only round he missed points on.
Yep, it was the only one.
So
Definitely
9.
Yeah, looking back at it, I'm sure he's a bit disappointed that he dropped points in that round because it was definitely doable. But if you had told him beforehand, hey, you could get 24,994 in Europe, are you going to take it? I'm sure he would have said yes. So can't be too disappointed by that.
Yeah, so that will mean this will end in a draw, and I don't know, it's Europe, so I would assume Jake's was at least good enough for a bonus point, but I'm not sure about Nakiro.
Yeah, both of them were. They were actually the best and second best score in the division.
Really unfortunate for Jake again to have the best score and then go up against the second best and not be able to walk away with 3 points in that one. Maybe even more disappointing not to walk away with an extra bonus point for that perfect game as well. A bit unlucky in one round. Well, yeah, not a whole lot to separate these two, despite their big point difference in the table. Jake obviously not having the most difficult time, but I would say, Calamity, this wasn't very difficult of a seed either for what definitely Europe can throw at you.
Yeah, it could definitely be more difficult, and this didn't have anything in too rural of an area. Perhaps the France location would have been the most difficult one, but that also, gave Nakiro the department, and with cities on a river, that also kind of gives you a little bit more of a clue there. So if we had around more rural in France with no such information, it would have probably, um, you know, given a bit more of an advantage to Nakiro.
Yeah, actually, I thought Switzerland was the hardest because, unlike them, I was not able to get out of crappy coverage, and I just pretty much got very frustrated and yeah, kind of threw that round a bit. But yeah, well, congrats to these two on their nice draw and a very nice score by Jake, representing Americans, knowing about their geography in Europe. Not too at all. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, we will see you all in the next one. Remember, divisions 1, 4, and 5 only have 10 players, which means we've only got one more week to go. Definitely want to watch the next set of casts in week 9 when we head to Canada, because it'll decide a lot going into these playoffs and relegation battles. So it'll be very interesting to watch those. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.